Thanks for joining us today. Welcome to our house session for the doctoral program in educational leadership for social justice. I think we have a few people coming in yet, so we will welcome them in. So glad to see you all today. My name is Becky Stevenson. I'm the academic program director for the doctoral program, and I'm joined here today by my assistant director, Michaela Cooper. The two of us together will tell you a little bit about the program today, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of time for some questions at the end. If you have questions as we go along, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we will try and answer every question that you have. So let's get started. We'll start with some program highlights. Cut to the chase here. So we're talking about our online EDD, which is a 3-year program. We've really carefully designed this program so that you can finish all of the requirements, coursework, and dissertation within. Every once in a while, we have students who need a little bit of extra time because of work or life or that kind of thing, but the majority of our students finish in that 3-year time frame. The program consists of 46 credits. It's 100% online. Though if you are in the LA area, we welcome you to come to campus for events, to come use the library, to work with your cohort. But you do not have to come to campus for classes or for other program requirements. We will invite you to graduation and hope that everybody will come. Our students have opportunities to share their research nationally and internationally. We support students in going to conferences. We also have a variety of career and professional development support that comes through the university. Our library is incredible and has done a great job of ramping up for online education. So you will have access to over 53,000 journals and 300 databases in the library. So everything you could need to write a great dissertation is available to you online through the library. One of the really important program highlights for many students is that every student who's admitted to our doctoral program receives a doctoral scholarship. And right now, the scholarship is about $30,000 over the course of the 3 years. So it does help considerably with the cost of the program. And just by virtue of being admitted to the program, you receive that. You don't have to apply for it or anything like that. Right now, we're talking about the entry term, which would be spring 2024. We've just completed our application cycle for 2023, and I'm in the process of evaluating applications right now for that. So we're talking about January 2024, and the application deadline will be October 1st, 2023. So you have a good amount of time to start getting ready, but it's great to start thinking about these things early. When you come to the doctoral program, you will have a rigorous curriculum that's grounded in educational leadership for social justice. That means that you will take courses in educational leadership and social justice, in research, and then you'll have a core of courses that support you through the dissertation process. So you can see, for example, in year 1, you're doing a lot of your foundational courses. You take a situated inquiry course, which is our first research methods course that really helps you understand what is educational research, why do we do it, how do we do it. And then you'll take a qualitative research class, a quantitative research class. At the same time, you'll start the leadership core, where you'll take different courses in leadership for social justice, moral and ethical leadership, transformational leadership. Will give you lots of different lenses for understanding the work that you are doing as leaders. We like to say that our students lead from many chairs, and that you can lead from any chair. So we take students who are in a traditional educational leadership position, for example, a school principal, assistant superintendent, a site leader. We also take folks who are working in higher education, in nonprofits, and occasionally people who are in some area that's completely new to us. So we think that leaders come in all shapes and sizes and different contexts as well. And so we're excited to meet people from all over the place. That said, the curriculum is largely focused on K-12 education. And then for folks who are coming in from other contexts, we're able to supplement that with some additional readings and some flexibility around course assignments. So if you're coming from higher ed, for example, you would be able to flex the assignments so you can focus on higher ed topics. In year 2, you really get started on your dissertation, working on the proposal. You're still taking some coursework, but you're spending a lot of time designing that proposal. You'll go through your first benchmark in the program, which is called preliminary review, which is a chance to reflect on the learning from the first year and think about the dissertation project. Towards the end of year 2, we hope that you will defend your proposal and advance candidacy, which means that you are ready to go out and do your research. Sorry about all the ding dong, if you can hear that. People coming in and out of Zoom. In year 3, you're focusing almost exclusively on your dissertation. So you'll take a couple of seminars that are going to help you do each piece of the dissertation process. You will do your final benchmark, which is your final dissertation defense, and then we put graduation on there as well. You can see that we've built in support for the dissertation throughout the entire program. You start talking about it in year 1, you start working on it and writing it in year 2, and in year 3, you have support to write it. We don't want to send you off on your own to try and do a dissertation. We really want to make sure that you have scaffolding and support through the whole process. This year, we've started piloting a new process or a new structure for dissertation advising, which we're calling dissertation research communities. So there's small groups of students who are working with a chair together and taking the writing classes all together. So you have extra access to your chair, support for the writing and work that you're doing. All right. Another important characteristic of our program is that it's designed for working professionals. Almost all of our students come to us as people who are working full-time in a school, in a college and university, in a nonprofit organization, people who are busy. They also often have families and other things in their lives that they're trying to balance, and we get that. And we want to make sure that you are able to be successful in your schoolwork and also be successful in your life. We've designed our class schedule to accommodate people who are working full-time, so your classes will be in the evenings. Right now, we ask our students to reserve Tuesday evenings for synchronous sessions in their classes. Your classes will be a balance of, or kind of a blend of asynchronous and synchronous time. So we encourage our faculty to meet regularly with their students. So some faculty interpret that as meeting every week. Some people meet every other week. Some people do a combination of full group meetings and small group meetings. We leave it up to the faculty to design that for what's going to work best for their course. But you will have regular contact with your faculty and your classmates in a synchronous way. In addition to that, you'll have some time that you are doing work on your own, and that's work that you can fit into your schedule however that allows. But for right now, we've asked students, to reserve Tuesday nights for those synchronous sessions. And I'm hoping we'll stick with that. Our scaffolded dissertation model, as I mentioned, really helps for folks who are busy and trying to figure out how to parse out the work of a dissertation when you don't have time to do that full time. We also have a really accessible faculty. So folks who are willing to meet with you in the evenings, on Saturdays, to text and call and Zoom in whatever way is going to connect you with them. We do a lot of that Saturday Zoom sessions. Just another word on the dissertation writing support. As I mentioned, we don't want to send you off on your own to try and write a dissertation without the support. So we have scaffolded the entire process. You'll take research methods courses, which will teach you the basics of the methodology, and then you will take writing courses, which help you produce the writing that you need to do and give you the technique for academic writing. We know that academic writing is different than the writing that you do in your everyday work. We know that dissertation writing is actually even different than kind of normal academic writing because dissertations have their own weird format. So we want to give you lots of support to be successful with that. So you'll take these writing courses, which right now, as I mentioned, are chair driven. So you will be taking your writing courses with your dissertation chair to give you extra access to them and opportunities to work together. As part of the support and the scaffolds, we have these different benchmarks. So as I mentioned, preliminary review happens at the end of the first year. And this is really an opportunity for you to sort of make a statement that this is the idea that I'm thinking about for dissertation. It's not binding, it's not the defense, but it's a chance to talk about it and get some feedback from faculty at an early stage of the process. The proposal defense is before you go out to do the research. So you have kind of the review and blessing of your dissertation committee before you go out to do your research. And then your final defense is when you finish the project and you come back to share your results. Along the way, you'll have access to your dissertation committee and your faculty to help you as you're going through that process. In this program, in addition to scaffolding, in addition to paying attention to what working professionals need, another pillar is this idea of theory into practice. So knowing that you are all professionals, there are people with a lot of knowledge and experience. We kind of want to take advantage of that, right? We want to honor that. And so what we feel that we do is give you lenses to understand theory and apply them to your practice. So this is a way to elevate the practice that you're already doing, or to move into a new position or a new type of practice. One place where you can really see the blending of theory and practice is in some of the dissertations. So I've given you a couple of titles here. So you can kind of see the types of projects that students are doing. For example, principles as partners in change, insights on Common Core state standards implementation. So it's a very practical investigation done by somebody who was working as a school principal at the time. Silencing the critics, teacher preparation for social justice matters is another one that was done by somebody working in higher education in teacher preparation. And forming and supporting lay Catholic elementary school principals as spiritual leaders was a dissertation that was done by Erin Barisano, who's now a superintendent in the Orange County Archdiocese. So we take the experience and the interests that you bring as a practitioner and give you a theoretical lens or a variety of theoretical lenses to help you understand and analyze that. All right, I am going to hand it over to Michaela to give you some of the nuts and bolts of applications. Yeah, go ahead, Michaela.
Great. Thank you so much, Becky. All right, so you're probably wondering now what you need to actually apply to the program. So the first thing that you need is an earned master's degree. Some doctoral programs allow you to do the master's as part of your doctorate, but our program does not, and you have to have the master's prior to joining our program. You also need to have an undergraduate GPA of a 3.0 or higher and a graduate GPA of a 3.5 or higher. We are looking for people that have at least 2 years of experience as an educational leader in some capacity. It doesn't mean that you have to be a current principal or superintendent, but you have to demonstrate in your application that you do have experience as a leader in your context. And the university has waived the GRE requirement through the end of this year. We are still waiting to see if it will be continued on past the end of this year. But as of now, if you apply through the end of this year, then you would not need to submit your GRE scores. So when you actually go to apply, LMU utilizes an online application portal called Slate. So you would create an account and put in all of your information. And then you also need to upload a few pieces of materials. One of those is the statement of purpose. And this is probably one of the most important parts of your application because it is really where you make the case for why you are a good fit for the program and why the program is a good fit for you. We ask you to identify responses to these 4 questions: why you want to pursue the EDD, how the EDD degree fits into your career plans, why you want to study at LMU, and then the areas of your research interest. And it doesn't mean that we expect you to have your areas of research completely, nailed down at this point. We understand that your research interests may change once you join the program and you really begin to dig into it, but we are looking just for your general area or areas. Some people have multiple thoughts that they really narrow down once they actually begin the program. We also are looking for your current resume and 2 letters of recommendation. You can actually submit up to 3 letters, but you need to submit at least 2. And we are looking for at least 1 letter from your current supervisor, and the other letter can come from a former supervisor, a colleague, a professor, if you've recently been in graduate school. And we also are looking, as I said, for people that can really speak to your experience as an educational leader. So ask people to write letters who are going to be able to talk about your experience as a leader in your context. After we have all the applications submitted and the deadline has closed, our committee reviews all applications. We take a very holistic approach to reviewing them. So really every part of the application is considered. And I'd say about usually the top third of applicants are invited to interview. And currently the interview is a virtual 2-part process where we do a group interview with some faculty and then also a timed writing sample. The interview process may change for next year's cycle, but that's the current process. And after the interview, the committee meets again, and we usually take overall about a month and a half to put out final decisions. So the application is due at the beginning of October, and then decisions are released by mid-November. So it's really only about a month and a half total. So if you are interested in the online program, which if you're here, then you are, you need to be aware that LMU has agreements with the state that are listed on this slide to offer online education. So what that means is that if your state of residence is not on this slide, it means that California, and therefore LMU, does not have an agreement to recognize a degree that would be earned in California. The good news is that LMU is constantly adding new states to our list. So if you don't currently see your state, it's possible that it may be added, especially since you have about a year until the application is due. So keep checking back with us. So this is our timeline. As I mentioned before, it's about a month and a half process. So the applications for the next cohort are due on October 1st of next year. The interviews are held in mid-October, and with the final decisions being announced in mid-November. We have a virtual orientation in early December, and then classes would start in early January. This is a photo of our most recent cohort of graduates. This was held on LMU's campus this past May, and the commencement is always a really fun experience because we are the only doctoral program on LMU's campus currently, and the graduates wear these special crimson robes so everyone can, tell who they are, and they always get lots of cheers and applause at commencement. I had a request in the chat just to go back to the program highlight slide. So I'll just go back there now. And just to go over the program highlights again, it's a 3-year program, 46 credits. We offer a generous scholarship to all admitted applicants. The program is 100% online, which means that your coursework will be a combination of synchronous and asynchronous sessions. It really depends on the faculty of how they break those up and how often you would actually meet synchronously. We do tell students to reserve Tuesday nights currently, though, between 5 and 9:30 for the synchronous sessions. LMU offers opportunities for our students to share their research at conferences. And we also have a robust career center where you can work with their career coaches on mock interviews, like resume development, those kinds of things. You also have access to our wonderful Hannon Library, which has a very robust online database, as well as the library. And as I mentioned earlier, The spring term that we are admitting for is next January, and the deadline is October 1st of next year.